convict for trying to form a trade union. I met an American the other day. He said, I've just been in Australia. I said, how'd you get on? Oh, Tony, he said, they were really tough. I said, what do you mean? Well, he said, when I applied for a visa, they said, have you any previous convictions? And I said, no. Is it still required? And you see, the reality is that battle had to be fought. And if you go through, when my grandfather was born, there were no telephones. When my mother was born, women didn't have the vote. When I was born, there were no television. When my kids were born, there was no computers. And your generation understands the world in which we live better than your seniors. So the question is, what do you do with what you know? And that is what Glastonbury is all about. Lots been said about the BNP. When I was a kid, I met Oswald Mosley, the fascist leader. He was then a Labour MP. He was a Labour MP who became a fascist. And what did he do? He built power by building hatred, in that case against the Jews, now it's against the Muslims or against the people, blacks and so on. But if I ever met Nick Griffin, I would say this to him. When you entered the country, Mr. Griffin, did you have a passport? Did you speak English? Of course he didn't. He was born here. When I came into this country, I didn't speak a word of English. I didn't have a passport. I just happened to be born here. And the reality is, we're all human beings, and they try to divide us into men and women and black and white and Muslim and Jew and Christian. I tell you, friends, we are all the same. And the interesting thing about Glastonbury is music is the language of internationalism. If you had a Chinese here, or a Japanese, or a Venezuelan, they would enjoy the music. You don't have to speak a language to understand music, so music is the international language of the human race. And that's why it's so important that we're not persuaded that globalization means the world's going to be run by multinational corporations, whatever we like. We are not just consumers or customers or workers, we are people. And that is the most important thing. We've got the war. Do you know the United States spends $400 million every day on the war in Iraq? $400 million a day. Now there are people around the world, in Haiti and Ethiopia, starving. It's an absolutely criminal offense to spend your money on killing people when you need the money to feed people. And that is just a good argument. That's how we got the welfare state. I don't know if everyone saw Michael Moore's film Sicko. It's a brilliant film if you haven't seen it. But he came to interview me, and he asked about how we got the health service. I said, very simple. During the war, I was a pilot, and war is a very dangerous part of the time. The rest of the time is boring. We sat and talked, and people said to each other, we had mass unemployment in the 30s, but we don't have mass unemployment when we're killing Germans. Why can't we have full employment? By building hospitals, recruiting nurses, recruiting doctors, building schools. That's how we built the welfare state. The choice between using your technology to kill and using your technology to build. And that is the argument we have to face. And your generation understands it.